Okay, well, welcome to Module 5, Week 1. Let's go ahead and take a look at the week ahead. And one thing I want to point out right away is on the announcements page, Ping has put up a announcement to a link to a video that she created about understanding goals and transfer goals. So go ahead and take a look at that. We're kind of switching things up a little bit 'cause on Thursday we kind of realized that there's still some uncertainty about understanding and transfer and those kind of things, so we want to make sure we address that before we move too much further. So we're going to kind of blend the weeks a little bit, so we're still going to kind of wrap up the last module about understanding and goals and stuff like that while we simultaneously start picking up about assessment, because if you can't really figure out how to do your assessment until you really have those goals in place. So make sure you watch that video. There's a link to it here, and that link does take you to the Module 4 folder that we were in for last week. So it's not in this Module 5 folder, so you won't see it in the Module 5, so make sure you go and you look for it there. But if we head over to this week's, show you a couple things that we have going on. Scroll down. Module 5. First thing here is we have the overview of the module as well as some instructor notes, so be sure to take a peek at those. And then we are in determine assessment evidence for the individual component, because that's what we're starting with. I think originally we were going to do the team component first, but we're going to start out with the individual component first and, for right now. So we'll go into that folder. And the first thing you're going to see at the top are, the video will be at the very top. Underneath those will be 2 discussion forums. And this is kind of how we're wrapping up the discussions our discussions around understanding and transfer, those kind of things, in terms of our goals. What we've done is we've split the class into 2 groups, and we have some discussion questions for you. So we'll just go into this top group up here. So if I click on it, let this open up, and kind of the general idea is that you'll come in here and click create thread, and then here are the questions that you need to respond to. So they are explain the differences between knowledge and understanding, and then use the text to support your answers. And we want you to cite the page numbers where you're pulling that from, because that makes it easy when we go back, especially if we come up with maybe a different description of maybe the difference between knowledge and understanding. That way we can go back, see where you found yours, and then we can kind of talk about it there. We have that kind of dialogue, and you can use the text as kind of a reference point. So we'd like you to have that up there by Tuesday at midnight, Tuesday night, and then just respond to your peers throughout the week as you kind of develop a general consensus of the difference between the knowledge and understanding. And then we also want you to put up an example from your individual component of knowledge, understanding, and transfer goals, and then explain why you feel they are those types of goals. And then that's how we're going to kind of start to wrap up, and then we'll have another follow-up discussion on those goals that you post for next week. So that is the discussion thread, but the general idea is that we want you to be active in the group that you're in. Let me head back a page here. 2 pages. So we want you to be active in your group. So if you're Amber, David, Dan, or Ryan, you're going to be in the group Pumpkins, and we want you to be active in that group. But we also want you to just kind of lurk from time to time throughout the week in the other group. That way you kind of see what's going on. Maybe they're talking about something that kind of inspires you, or is like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. So you don't have any obligation to contribute in the opposite group that you're not in, but it wouldn't hurt to peek in from time to time just to see what's going on. But again, there's no expectation that you read every post or anything like that, or make any comments in those threads. As we move along, you'll see there's an overview. We're moving into the assessment, and that's what this week 1 instructor overview kind of gets at. And we're looking at evidence of your goals that you state in stage 1. So be thinking about that. And as you're thinking about that, you really want to be thinking about alignment with your assessments that you create in stage 2 with what you have in stage 1. Because if you're not assessing your goals, then what are you assessing? And it's not going to be what you want it to be. So make sure you're looking at that and be thinking about that as you create your assessments for stage 2. We do have some readings this week. It looks like it's modules I through J, so it's not a ton of reading. That should go pretty quick, but I do encourage you to do the readings. And then we also have our assignment in here as well, so make sure you get a handle on that. And as always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email Ping or myself. I know the first 2 days this week will be, I think we're both going to be at the iTech conference in Des Moines, so I know I'll probably be a little slow getting back with emails, but if you email me, I'll definitely check in at night when I get back to Waterloo. So I hope everyone has a wonderful fall week ahead.